Hello and welcome to ACS Golf and this week's review. I'm looking at a golf club that I picked up from Golf Clubs for Cash for only £34.99. So that's under $45 if you're watching over in the US at the moment. And that's including postage as well, so there's no extra for the postage. And it could, for me, probably be the best bargain I pick up all year. Now, if you've obviously clicked on this video, you've probably seen the photo, so you probably know what this golf club is. It is a driver. It is from one of the biggest brands. Well, whether the biggest, one of the best brands definitely at the time to release woods. So much so that they're actually brought out by TaylorMade so they could take all their technology and use it themselves. And some of it's still in. Obviously, it's been forwarded a bit, it's been tinkered with, but some of it is still in the actual golf clubs at the moment. And for me, as I mentioned, this could potentially be the bargain of the century because it could be perfect for your weekend golfers, perfect for people who are just starting up, or someone who just doesn't want to go out and spend $300 for £300, £400, or whatever it is on the new equipment. Because let's be honest, unless you're swinging at 110, 150 miles an hour, even though this golf club is 11 years old, there's not going to be that much difference from, well, this golf club and a brand new one. And I will mention it when I go through the ACS golf scale, exactly what I found when it came down to distances, comparing this to my brand new Cobra Dark Speed that I have in the bag. Now, if you haven't guessed what this brand is already, it is this. It is the Adams brand, Adams Golf. That's what they used to call themselves, Adams Golf. And it's a Speedline Super LS driver from 2013. Now, Adams for me is a fantastic brand. They're really good. TaylorMade have just released some new stuff actually last year under the Adams brand, which again is, well, won all the plaudits again, really good reviews. And on the second-hand market, these things are cheap. And they were at the time the leading brand, as I mentioned, in fairway woods, in woods, etc. And so you can grab some really good bargains. Maybe not the older stuff, just because I think technology has moved on from there. But if you're looking at the last stuff they did before they sort of got closed down by TaylorMade, they're not that far off from modern day stuff at the moment. So it's definitely worth having a look for when you see these, on the second-hand market. Now, for me, I got this in 9.5 degrees, regular shaft, Kuru cage and Mitsubishi shafts, a high quality shaft there as well. I'm not going to lie, I was extremely excited to hit this. I do love a wide top face there. Okay, now, as always with this, we're going to have a closer look at the club, get back in here, talk about the technology in it, then we're going to get down to the range, and then I'll go through the ACS golf scale with you guys. Do remember also, before I have a close look at this club, if you're new to this channel, do remember to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you do not miss out on weekly ACS golf reviews that come out every Sunday. Sunday UK time. I think it comes out in the US probably a Saturday afternoon. And also the extra on video thrown in. Okay, so there you go. Now, let's have a closer look at this club. So there you go, a closer look at the club. And I'm not going to lie, I think it looks really cool. It's definitely that sort of LS sort of lower spin model. You've got bigger face, higher crown, not too much weight pushed at the back there, really trying to get that center of gravity at the front of the face for that low spin. As I mentioned, this is the LS version. They did release an S version as well, which is that more sort of forgiving model. So if you see one of them online and you fancy getting one of these, but you're not too sure you want the low spin model because you don't have the swing speed, and you want a little bit more forgiveness, do check out the Speedline S. So it is the Speedline Super LS that I have. Now, going into the technology about this club. So first things first, we'll get into construction. So the center of gravity is positioned very low and back in the head, which helps to make Adams the lowest spinning driver ever. The deep face, there you go, ensures the launch is still high though. So there you go. So they're understanding straight off the bat, with low spin, obviously you're not going to get the spin to get the ball in the air. So you need help to make sure you get it in the air so that even when it is low spin, the launcher is going to be right to maximize distance, you know, and they have that weight right there, sort of not at the back of the head, but really tucked in there. To be fair, you can see there, and you could change the weight of this weight if necessary from, you know, testing and all that sort of malarkey. So it was an interchangeable weight there. Then we go on to what they had. So both the Super and the LS drivers had Adams' first range of drivers with VST or Velocity Slot technology. And this is the technology that TaylorMade wanted, and they took and put in all their drivers. The slot position near the face, so you can just sort of see it there. There you go. So near the face on the sole of the club works to increase the sweet spot on the driver. The slot is deeper in the toe and heel regions, improving consistency and ball speed across the face. And this is something that TaylorMade use, and a lot of other firms actually have used this sort of idea of having this slot there, you know, because it really does help with that forgiveness aspect, especially on the lower hits on the club. So something that Adams thought up and really did help, you know, bring to the market. Also, you had a Adams fast fit adjustability, which I find really brilliant actually. Golfers can adjust the lie, loft, and length and swing weight of their Super LS driver. The loft of the driver can be adjusted to any of the 8 settings, offering a total of 1 plus, you know, plus 1 degrees or minus 1 degree. So in this case, 9.5 can go up to 10.5 or can go down to 8.5. But you can also increase the length of the driver by 0.5 inches. Which I think is just crazy. So you can up it by 0.5 inches or decrease it by 0.5 inches. So it is a quite complex thing. It's not the easiest to use. And also the key is not a normal key. I don't know if you can see there. So you need to try and find an Adams one, or a spanner will work. No, not spanner. Spanner, yeah, spanner will work, or screwdriver. Can't remember which one, but they will work. But yeah, it's a bit of a hassle if you want to change the weights and obviously adjust this. Full titanium, no carbon in this, as expected sort of at the time really. I don't think the clubs really brought in the, you know, carbon until sort of 2016, but there you go. Well, actually they did back in the day, but then they stopped and just kept it all titanium. So there's all the technology in there, you know, a lot, and at the time a lot of groundbreaking stuff as well. Now let's get down to the range. I'm going to throw some figures at you, and then we'll come back in here for the ACS Golf Scale. All right, see you in a bit. So let's get down to the figures. Now, I will say this was another very cold night over here in the UK. I'm very much looking forward to things starting to warm up. So normally with a driver, I'd expect a total yardage around 250 yards, ball speed around 150 miles per hour. But as it is cold and I wouldn't swing as fast as I would do, I am expecting it to be a little bit shorter than that. Now, let's get into those figures. So on average, I had a carry of 202 yards, total distance of 241 yards, ball speed 148 miles per hour, launch angle 11, height 46, and swing speed around that 95 miles per hour. I did have a few better than that, and I did have a few lower than that because I was just obviously cold and just wasn't swinging as fast as I normally do, which is normally around that 97 miles per hour bracket. One thing I will say is, you know, this actually had really great distance. You know, I did the Cobra as well, the Dark Speed Extra having the bag, and on average that I was only 246 yards, so only 4 yards more than that. Longest on the day was with this club, 251 total yards, so I was happy with that, and I did manage to get over ball speed 152 miles per hour at one point as well, so good. So there you go, and some interesting results from it really, to be fair. I mean, as I mentioned, it was a cold night, so I wouldn't say I was swinging at my maximum there, you know, which showed because on average I had a swing speed of around 95 miles per hour, which showed normally it's up to around the 97, 98, but still not bad results. I will give you the results of my Cobra as well when we go into distance, just to see that this isn't that short from it. So let's go into the ACS Golf Scale. So remember, we've got distance, feel, looks, price, and forgiveness. Now for me, distance, I've given it a 3.5 out of 5. I've given it a 3.5 out of 5. A club that cost me £34.99, I've given it a 3.5 out of 5. You know, yes, the average was only 241 yards. I normally expect around 250 yards. As I mentioned, my swing speed was not there. And the Cobra, which I gave a 4, by the way, you know, Dark Speed X, check out my channel for that review. on average was 246 on the night, so only 5 yards more, and the price difference is what, £300 or more? Only 5 yards more, and the longest on the night was this as well, 251 yards. So for me, it's still got some really good distance in there. This low spin one, the launch was good, the consistency was good with it as well. It was fun to hit. Yeah, what can I say? 3.5 out of 5 just shows you don't have to break the bank to get some good distance. Having a really decent shaft in here as well with this Kuro cage does help as well. So there you go. Really happy with it. 3.5 out of 5. Moving on to looks. Looks are going at 3 out of 5. I love, that head there. I love the white on the top. I love the speed line in the grey. I like the little mark there, the alignment AD, which has LS. Club face is a bit tall for me. I know when they've done it. Obviously, we talked about that regarding the technology. And I'm not too sure about the sort of aerodynamics they've got there. To be honest, the club head's a little bit of a weird shape. But overall, I think it's a good looking club. So yeah, 3 out of 5. I'm happy with it. I think the head covers as well are pretty cool. They look pretty modern still, to be fair. The only problem is obviously they are 11 years old, so they're not always in the best condition. This is probably one of the best Adams head cover condition I've seen for a while, to be honest, because people buy them and they use them. So there you go. So yeah, looks 3 out of 5. Now feel for me, 3 out of 5. I relatively knew where I was missing it on the face, where I was hitting it. It felt pretty good. It felt quite powerful, but nothing really to write home about. Nothing that special about it. Just overall, just a nice feeling driver, to be fair. So yeah, 3 out of 5. So yeah, can't really complain. Going into forgiveness, 3 out of 5 again. Had some good forgiveness in there. Don't get me wrong, it is a low spin driver. So if you're not getting that launch angle, you're really going to suffer, and I had a pretty decent launch angle for me on the night, 11 degrees. And ball speed, by the way, I forgot to mention that. Well, I did mention that obviously when we were down the range, but 148 miles per hour on average. That is pretty good. 152 fastest, even with a slow swing speed. Impressive. Anyway, just thought I'd just bring that in because I just saw it then. But yeah, forgiveness 3 out of 5. There wasn't a huge drop in ball speed. I mean, there was one where I really did get it off the top of the head. Awful swing. Launch angle was 17. Only went 236 yards, but then 236 yards. That's not that far off the 241, to be honest. And that wasn't a great swing at all. So, forgiveness isn't bad. Don't get me wrong; it's not the most forgiving thing, but I think 3 out of 5. They did mention at the time this was quite well for a low spin driver was forgiving. Obviously, if you don't have the swing speed to get the spin up, and obviously you don't have the launch, it's just going to roll out in front of you. But if you can with the forgiveness, it is very good. So there you go. So yeah, 3 out of 5. But do remember, if you need that more forgiveness, you're going to be hitting it all over the face all the time, but you want to save yourself some money, look at the S version of this. Now, moving on to price. Price of at 5 out of 5. I'm sorry, but I paid £34.99 for this. I'm never going to find a better deal than that. This thing, it was longest on the night. Yes, the average a little bit down, but I could take this on the golf course. I might see maybe 5 yards down from my dark speed, but overall, really, with the ball speed, I could probably fiddle with this and get even more distance, to be fair. Maybe I need to increase the loft or do whatever. So 5 out of 5. I think it's a great option out there for guys who just want to save their money, have something that looks pretty cool, and obviously go and play golf. I think it's great. So yeah, 5 out of 5. It's can't complain. Brilliant. I will say the deal obviously I found was not necessarily a one-off. You need to keep your eyes out for them, but it was in a sale. Normally these go for around £60, around $75. But again, I still think that's a 5 out of 5. I still think that is an absolute bargain for a club with this much technology in it and how well it performs still, even though it's 11 years old. One downside I will say about it, obviously these clubs have been used and they've been used well. They still are just titanium faces. How long will they last? You know, everything has so many hits in it. So, you know, will it last you another 10 years or 5 years or 3 years? Maybe not. But, you know, the shafts are strong shafts. You're definitely going to get a year. I think if you really watch what you're buying, you're going to get more than a year out of it, 100%. And still, you know, £60 for just a year of constant. And I mean, if you're going out every weekend and playing every weekend, going to the range once a week, sort of thing. So, yeah, but just be aware. You know, make sure it's in good condition. You know, this isn't in bad condition at all. There's a few little chips on the paint, but face still looks pretty good. So just keep an eye out on that, because they are, you know, you're talking 11 years old now with these clubs. So there you go. There is my overall review about this club. I think it's an absolute bargain. I think it is bargain of the century for myself that I've managed to pick up, because I just do think it is great. And Adams, you know, this 2000 range line from Adams, Speed line, you know, I've tested a hybrid of this and I thought it was fantastic. Again, it was under £50. I've got the fairway wood that I'm going to test as well. Again, under £50. They are some great deals on the second-hand market, because so far I've been impressed with all of the Speedline range that I have tried. I haven't tried the irons. I'm not sure I will. But woods-wise, I've always been impressed by them, you know, especially with their age, how they are still keeping up with some of the bigger brands nowadays. Fantastic. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. You know, comment down below, you know, have you ever played Adams Golf? You know, if you have, do let me know. And, you know, would you still play it today? Also, give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And remember to subscribe to the channel so you do not miss out on weekly ACS Golf reviews such as this, with a few brand new clubs as well thrown in every now and again, and a few little extra videos for you guys. All right, guys, hope you have a great golfing week, and I will catch you soon for the next ACS Golf video. All right, see you then.